สวัสดีค่ะ Hello and welcome. You're watching ASEAN Challenge, the show to give you the latest headlines, hot topics and updates happening around your ASEAN community in two languages, Thai and English. I'm Rosalind Tepawan.
And I'm Alisa สิทธิวงศ์ขอต้อนรับคุณผู้ชมเข้าสู่รายการ ASEAN Challenge ค่ะข่าวสารรอบอาเซียนเป็นภาษาอังกฤษและภาษาไทยค่ะ
And to kickstart ASEAN Challenge, let's take a look at what's happening around us in the first section with focus this time on tourism and how ASEAN, being a very tourism-oriented bloc, is trying to expand and receive more, and you could just say more capacity for tourism, focusing today on Singapore.
That's right. So the Singapore airport, Changi Airport, actually has received, we can say, the best airport 5 years in a row already from Skytrax, which is a leading, we can say, award for airlines and airports. And now for 5 consecutive years, Changi Airport has received world's best airport. So it's not just ASEAN, but it's the world's best airport. Now, one of the things that make it so amazing is the amenities, the facilities, the things that are available at the airport itself. Currently, they have 3 terminals, but what we're going to focus on is the new terminal that will be finished approximately at the end of the year.
Right, so that new terminal. Right now, Singapore, with all that traffic coming in and out, and it reaches around 16 million passengers according to the report in terms of annual capacity. But because of them quickly reaching that capacity, they're trying to extend that even further to 82 million, and that's what the Terminal 4 construction is about to do. So this is just a glimpse of Changi Airport and perhaps new plans as well for the airport in the near future. But I'd have to say, just coming from the airport, it is one of the best airports, not just because of the technology that they implement that you see here to facilitate that. This is going to become a self-check-in kind of system where they're trying to make a lot of, you could say, convenience for the passengers and really speedily assist various passengers through different obstacle courses at the airport. And with all of these self-check-in amenities, things are going to be so quick and they'll be able to expand their capacity for passengers coming in and out even more.
That's right. So as we're seeing, you know, the technology that they're planning to implement into Terminal 4, they're going to use facial recognition technology, and therefore passengers will be able to have a whole self-service option at each stage of departure, check-in, bag drop, immigration, and boarding as well. So that altogether is going to be able to save about 20% in terms of the cost of manpower in the long term. Now, 9 airlines are already preparing to be using this new terminal. At the moment, as we mentioned, that there are already 3 terminals. The 5th terminal actually is also in planning stage already, and that's probably going to be in about a decade though. But at the moment, what you are able to see at Changi Airport that makes it the best airport is the facilities, as mentioned. Now, the facilities include a cinema, which is free. You can watch it for 24/7, and you can go shopping, you can eat. There's a large garden, swimming pool even.
Right, not just that, but in the middle of different terminals, there are different gardens that you can walk around and enjoy the greens, just the oasis in the airport terminals themselves. And not just that, they also have these dens where people can go and just relax, and really it makes you think about the future, something very futuristic. Chairs that are big and reclining, and you can just go and sleep and observe and watch a sports game right in the middle of the terminal. So it's something so comfortable and experience for everyone, something for everyone. There's also a food village where everything is electronic and digital. You go and you choose what you want to eat from a vending machine. You pay by yourself and you pick up the food later.
That's
so
right.
It's really the airport of the future.
Now they say that normally transit or stopovers tend to be quite boring, and people tend to not like it so much. But if you have a stopover here, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can enjoy their time at the Changi Airport. They actually say that people go to Changi Airport even if they're not on a flight or they don't have a flight. People just go in order to go shopping, relax, hang out, and study as well. So it is a location that does, let's say, entertain a lot of people.
Right, a one-stop shop, not just for local people to go and pass the time, but also for commuters to go and get comfortable. So a new hangout place.
That's right. So now with, of course, another terminal coming, it's going to be even larger, being able to facilitate more people, and it's going to be very innovative as well. So that's something to definitely look forward to. By the way, the cost of the construction of the new terminal is going to be 985 million Singapore dollars, or approximately 723.57 million US dollars as well.
Right.
So a lot of money is being put into it in order to make it, of course, continuously the best airport.
A big investment, but also worth it.
That's right.
ใช่แล้วค่ะ
ค่ะ มาดูกันนะคะ อย่างที่เราเห็นกันวันนี้นะคะ ในอาเซียน around us เราจะพาคุณผู้ชมไปดูสนามบินชางงีที่สิงคโปร์นั่นเองค่ะ ณ ขณะนี้ถือว่าเป็นสนามบินที่ดีที่สุดในโลกเลย และได้รางวัลนี้มาเป็นเวลา 5 ปีแล้ว เพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยถือว่าเป็นสนามบินที่นอกเหนือจากจะอำนวยความสะดวกให้กับผู้โดยสารแล้วก็ยังสามารถที่จะ entertain ผู้โดยสารหรือว่าคนที่กำลังรอเครื่องบินอยู่ด้วย
และนั่นก็คือจุดเด่นของรางวัล Skytrax World Airport Awards นะคะปี 2017 ซึ่งทาง Skytrax เองก็บอกว่าทางสิงคโปร์เนี่ยเห็นเก้าอี้ที่นั่งไหมคะอันนี้เป็นซีนีมาของสนามบินนะคะมันก็ขึ้นชื่อนะคะเรื่องamenities นั่นเองก็เป็น entertainment การบันเทิงการพักผ่อนแบบผ่อนคลายนะคะสำหรับทั้งผู้โดยสารแล้วก็คนทั่วไปด้วยที่สามารถเข้าไปในสนามบินแล้วก็ไปชมบรรยากาศที่แตกต่างจากประเทศอื่น
ใช่ค่ะแต่สิ่งที่กำลังจะเกิดขึ้นค่ะปลายปีนี้จะมี terminal อีกหนึ่งอันนะคะซึ่งอันนี้ถือว่าเป็น high tech terminal เลยทีเดียวเพราะว่าทุกอย่างเนี่ยเป็น self check in หมดเลยคือจะไม่ต้องผ่านคนก็คือจะเป็นการสแกนจะฝากกระเป๋าจะเช็คอินนะคะก็ผ่านคอมพิวเตอร์อย่างที่เราเห็นตรงนี้เนาะก็สามารถที่จะทำเองได้การที่ทำแบบนี้นะคะอาคารผู้โดยสารหรือ terminal ที่4เนี่ยก็จะทำให้สามารถประหยัดค่าใช้จ่ายในส่วนของการจ้างพนักงานของสนามบินได้ถึง 20% ต่อปีในระยะยาวด้วย
ค่ะแล้วก็ได้เพิ่มจำนวนผู้โดยสารด้วยนะคะเพราะว่าในขณะนี้ประเทศสิงคโปร์ก็นับว่าสนามบินเต็มแล้วค่ะคนแน่นแล้วก็ผู้โดยสารก็ต้องคอยใช่ไหมคะเพราะฉะนั้นเขาพยายามที่จะอัปเกรดทางด้านเทคโนโลยีเพื่อช่วยให้ผู้โดยสารเดินทางได้เร็วขึ้นเช็คอินเร็วขึ้นทำทุกอย่างด้วยตัวเอง
ค่ะอาคารผู้โดยสารนี้นะคะก็จะสร้างเสร็จในปลายปีนี้ตอนนี้นะคะก็พร้อมที่จะรองรับ9สายการบินด้วยกันนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นเดี๋ยวเรามาดูกันในปลายปีเนาะว่าเทคโนโลยีเนี้ยจะเป็นยังไงกันบ้างค่ะ
ค่ะนั้นก็เป็น short term นะคะสิ้นปีนี้แต่ long term ก็จะมีการสร้าง terminal อาคารที่5นะคะซึ่งจะได้รับผู้โดยสารถึง50ล้านคนเพิ่มเติมนะคะต่อจากนั้นก็อาจจะมีการต่อเนื่องอีกด้วยนะคะเพราะว่าทางสิงคโปร์ก็พัฒนาไปเรื่อยๆไม่ว่าทางด้านเทคโนโลยีทางด้าน expanding แล้วก็เรื่องรางวัลก็เช่นกันค่ะ
So definitely Singapore is a very interesting location to go and visit. Even the airport is interesting and a place that people might want to also visit as well.
Right.
So that's Changi Airport for you.
Anyone traveling, do take a detour there if given the chance, a transfer. All right, and that's ASEAN around us for you. Let's go ahead and take a short break, though. When we come back, more highlights of the week coming up in ASEAN Hot Topics. Stay tuned.
เดี๋ยวกลับมาค่ะ
Welcome back to the show. Into ASEAN Challenge. We now take a look at several hot issues happening around your ASEAN bloc, focusing, of course, on the recent ASEAN Regional Forum, or ARF, that just concluded in Manila to a very upbeat China. Several countries met with their leaders of their respective countries from the foreign ministries and discussed many important things. And China has come out with focus today to try and actually urge ASEAN to join China to pursue many more dimensions and angles.
That's right, and this year is actually very special because it celebrates its 50th year of the establishment of ASEAN altogether. And of course, China does play a very big role in the relationships of ASEAN countries and the whole ASEAN community itself as well. So focusing on China and the relationship with ASEAN member countries, during the meeting, China and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, of course, expressed satisfactions with the achievement with with their strategic partnership during the last 15 years. So ASEAN has been around for 50 years, of course, and the relationship with China joining hands in has been 15 years. Now, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and his counterparts from the ASEAN member countries made pledge at the meeting in Manila, Philippines as well.
Right, he voiced his congratulations on ASEAN sticking to their solidarity for the past 5 decades and saying that China is optimistic about ASEAN's development and also achievements, and expressed a lot of hope for the next half a century. And so far, with ASEAN becoming the 5th or 6th largest economic bloc in the world now, China is looking to tap into that to expand a lot of things, especially with China really taking the initiative to push across the One Belt and Road program. So China and ASEAN are also at the same time celebrating their 15th anniversary of strategic partnership soon. So both sides, facing critical times at this moment, are trying to pursue several different points which we're about to list of strengthening bilateral relations.
That's right. So there's a total of 7 points to be exact on the proposal on the future China-ASEAN cooperation, and in which we'll summarize that for all of our viewers, of course. First one is to formulate a 2030 vision for China-ASEAN strategic partnership as a blueprint to guide future relations. The second one is to synergize the Belt and Road Initiative and the master plan on ASEAN connectivity and further expand the scope and dimension for bilateral cooperation. Third is to designate 2018 as China-ASEAN Year of Innovation, give full play to the complementarity of innovation-driven development of China and innovation-driven growth of ASEAN, and launch the upgrading of China-ASEAN cooperation. The fourth one is to accelerate the implementation of the outcomes on upgrading China-ASEAN free trade area and jointly safeguard the global free trade regime. Fifth is to fully implement the China-ASEAN Joint Statement on Production Capacity Cooperation and boost each other's industrialization process. Sixth is to build new pillars for people-to-people exchanges and cooperation, ensure the success of the China-ASEAN Tourism Cooperation Year, and issue a joint statement on tourism cooperation so as to consolidate public support and social foundation for bilateral relations. And seventh, last but not least, is to expedite negotiations on the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership and lead the process of regional integration together.
Right, so far this focus is on connectivity in many different pillars, whether it's economic, socio, or political development as well. So in terms of that, China has really tried to express a lot of progress in terms of being a part of ASEAN's economic bloc development. But a lot of other issues were discussed as well during our ASEAN Regional Forum recently. Not only was economic development and bilateral strengthening in that department discussed and also passed around and given the green light in many countries, but also issues concerning the code of conduct is also an important issue that was addressed in the South China Sea issue with China, a very big kind of flag that has to be discussed. So China proposed a 3-step vision to step up the consultations of the code of conduct that will be drafted by November and approved by ASEAN members. And it was warmly responded and supported by all of the ASEAN members. And they're the following. The first proposed 3-step vision in terms of the code of conduct in the South China Sea involves China and ASEAN states recognizing the framework that has been drafted, and with all that necessary preparatory work being done, the start of this COC, as we call it, will actually happen this year. So that's a great progress so far after it's been drafted over so many years. Second is how this code of conduct consultations should be approached and sustained, and what principles should be discussed and upheld. And these issues had been discussed and will continue to be discussed up until that time at the Joint Work Group meeting on the implementation of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, happening end of August. So we'll be looking forward to that. The third point in this 3-step vision proposed by China is basically completing all the preparations needed and on the condition that there's no major outside interference on the South China Sea issue. So apart from arbitration or mediation from third parties overseas, China says the region and also China's negotiation and dialogue with the region is quite stable. And leaders of China and ASEAN member states will officially announce the start of the next step in the negotiation very soon in November. So we're definitely seeing a lot of progress. Different ASEAN member countries have been very happy, they voiced about this movement.
That's right. So they're very anticipated in celebrating the 15th anniversary of the establishment of the China-ASEAN relationship next year, actually. And both sides would like to strengthen strategic synergy, deepen cooperation in economy, trade, innovation, connectivity, tourism, and other areas as to bring the strategic partnership to a new level. Now, talking about the South China Sea disputes during the meeting, what they said was that they fully acknowledged that there's a positive momentum in the past year. So therefore, they welcomed the approval of the framework of the COC and look forward to further consultations on the COC under the framework of a full and effective implementation of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties on the South China Sea, or DOC. So therefore, of course, a very fruitful meeting and forum occurred in terms of relationship between China and ASEAN member countries.
Right, indeed. Much progress to be made, and a lot more to come as well, with many more issues that must be put on the table, whether it's about regional security, whether it's about North Korea, and much, much more in Myanmar as well. So we'll be keeping you posted on the developments coming from ASEAN as they continue on and they conclude.
ใช่แล้วค่ะข่าวแรกในอาเซียนฮอตอิชชูค่ะเราไปดูที่ประเทศจีนกับความสัมพันธ์กับประเทศอาเซียนของเรานั่นเองค่ะซึ่งเมื่อกี้ที่เราเห็นบนจอนะคะก็คือภาพการประชุมของอาเซียนพร้อมกับจีนซึ่งอาเซียนเนี่ยถือว่าครบ50ปีในปีนี้นะคะแล้วในส่วนของความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างจีนกับอาเซียนเนี่ยในปีหน้าก็จะครบ15ปีแล้วในการที่ครบ15ปีแบบนี้ความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างทั้งอาเซียนกับจีนเนี่ยก็อยากจะยกระดับขึ้นมาไม่ว่าจะเป็นด้านเศรษฐกิจด้านเทคโนโลยีหรือว่าการปรองดองในด้านต่างๆโดยเช่นกันค่ะอย่างเช่นใน South China Sea ที่เป็นประเด็นอยู่ก็ถือว่าในปีนี้ก็ถือว่ามีสิ่งที่การคืบหน้าไปเรื่อยๆก็หวังว่าจะดีขึ้นเรื่อยๆค่ะ
ใช่แล้วก็คาดได้เลยนะคะว่าสิ้นปีนี้จะมีการ implement มาตรการของ Code of Conduct ในเรื่องของ South China Sea นะคะเพราะฉะนั้นจะมีการก้าวหน้ามากขึ้นทางประเทศจีนก็ออกมาตอบรับแล้วก็มา support การที่จะ draft ข้อมูลนี้นะคะแล้วก็มีหลายอย่างที่เป็นดีลการตกลงกับประเทศอาเซียนที่จะพัฒนาในมุม South China Sea และจะได้เห็นความคืบหน้าแน่นอนค่ะสิ้นปีนี้
All right, moving on to some news updates from Myanmar now. Now, in terms of the Rohingya, we can say Rohingya and the issue of Myanmar and the UN. As most of you who have been following the news updates, of course, back in February, there was a report that came out from the United Nations in terms of the abuse that Myanmar militants were conducting against the Rohingya migrants. Now, on Sunday, August 6th, just the beginning of the month, Myanmar came out to reject the allegations of crimes against humanity and ethnic cleansing during a crackdown against Rohingya Muslims last year, accusing the United Nations of making exaggerated claims on its report on the issue.
Right, they have been charged with many crimes. Apparently, the army was accused of raping Rohingya women, shooting villagers on sight, burning down homes as well, sending an estimated 75,000 people overseas or to other countries like Bangladesh, for example. So as a result, the country itself launched a separate probe into what happened, but this particular probe had been disregarded by other arbitrary groups, third parties, as being, you could say, lacking independence in producing credible reports. So as a result of that, many third parties, such as the UN, for example, conducted their own probes and came out with this resolution. And that said, Myanmar has rejected those claims.
That's right. So this comes after the UN report, as mentioned in February, when the UN had said that they were very likely to be a lot of crimes against humanity and possible ethnic cleansing. The UN had interviewed approximately 200 people that fled to Bangladesh, Rohingyas that fled to Bangladesh to get this report, and now this follows that report that came out in February.
Indeed. So we have yet to see how the UN will respond to Myanmar's response. So yet again, there's still no definite conclusion because the different conclusions vary according to different groups and different probes. So we'll still be keeping watch to see how the people who had fled and the people, the victims of the violence, will continue to be accommodated or compensated.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันในส่วนข่าวที่2ค่ะไปกันที่ประเทศเมียนมากันบ้างนะคะซึ่งทางเมียนมาค่ะก็ได้ปฏิเสธข้อกล่าวหาขององค์กรสหประชาชาติหรือว่า UN นะคะที่มีการพูดว่าเมียนมาเนี่ยมีการละเมิดสิทธิมนุษยชนอย่างกว้างขวางและมีการล้างเผ่าพันธุ์ด้วยนะคะระหว่างการกวาดล้างกลุ่มติดอาวุธในรัฐยะไข่เมื่อไม่นานมานี้ค่ะการปฏิเสธในครั้งนี้ค่ะก็มาจากการรายงานของทางคณะเจ้าหน้าที่สำนักงานสิทธิมนุษยชนแห่งสหประชาชาติค่ะซึ่งได้เผยแพร่รีพอร์ตตัวหนึ่งเมื่อเดือนกุมภาพันธ์ที่ผ่านมานะคะโดยในรีพอร์ตเนี่ยก็ได้ระบุว่ามีความเป็นไปได้สูงมากที่จะมีการก่ออาชญากรรมต่อมนุษยชาติในระหว่างการปฏิบัติการกวาดล้างของหน่วยความมั่นคงของเมียนมานั่นเองค่ะ
ค่ะซึ่งกลุ่มของประเทศพม่านะคะเมียนมาที่ได้สืบสวนต่างหากจากทางสหประชาชาตินะคะก็ออกมาบอกว่าไม่ใช่อย่างที่กล่าวหาซึ่งเราก็ยังจะคอยติดตามนะคะว่าผลสรุปจริงๆแล้วแต่ละกลุ่มจะไม่เหมือนกันเพราะฉะนั้นจะมีการจัดการกันยังไงต่อโดยเฉพาะการช่วยเหลือกลุ่มโรฮิงญาที่ต้องลี้ภัยไปต่างประเทศอย่างเช่นบังกลาเทศหรือว่ากลุ่มคนที่ได้เสียชีวิตไปหรือว่าสูญเสียครอบครัวไปและหลายๆอย่างค่ะเราก็จะคอยติดตามกันค่ะ
ค่ะเอาละค่ะไปกันต่อ next news updates going to Vietnam in terms of Germany as well in which the German embassy or the German side of course has asked a Vietnamese intelligence officer at the embassy in Berlin to leave the country as it believes he was involved in a kidnapping of a former oil executive accused of financial mismanagement back at home.
Right, according to the words from the foreign minister, Sigmar Gabriel, after talks in Wolfsburg with the foreign minister of Slovak, he said in his own words, we didn't beg him to leave, but rather we demanded that he leave because we strongly believe he's a person who was definitely involved in the kidnapping.
That's right. So Gabriel said that Trinh Xuan Tan, who Vietnam says had voluntarily returned home, was taken out of Germany using methods which we believe one sees in thriller films about the Cold War, and this is something that we cannot accept. So that's the words of Sigmar Gabriel.
Right, definitely a case, a scandal reminiscent of Cold War movies from Germany
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันในข่าวที่3ค่ะเกี่ยวข้องกับประเทศเวียดนามกับประเทศเยอรมนีนั่นเองนะคะซึ่งทางการเยอรมนีนะคะก็ได้กล่าวหารัฐบาลเวียดนามว่าได้ทำการลักพาตัวผู้ลี้ภัยชาวเวียดนามคนหนึ่งชื่อนายตรินส่วนทานนะคะในกรุงเบอร์ลินแล้วก็ยังได้สั่งขับเจ้าหน้าที่ในหน่วยข่าวกรองภายในสถานทูตเวียดนามให้เดินทางออกจากประเทศภายใน48ชั่วโมงด้วยค่ะ
ค่ะทีนี้เราก็จะคอยติดตามดูสถานการณ์นะคะว่าการผลกระทบจากการเหตุการณ์แบบนี้นะคะมันจะกระทบ relationship ระหว่างประเทศเวียดนามกับเยอรมันยังไงบ้างค่ะเพราะว่าคนที่หายตัวไปก็เป็นคนค่อนข้างสำคัญมากๆค่ะ
That's right. Moving on to some lighter news updates now in terms of Hong Kong and Singapore, in which the new Hong Kong leader has visited Singapore in hopes of course, trade agreements within the ASEAN member. Now, Hong Kong's chief executive, Carrie Lam, arrived in Singapore. This occurred in the beginning of the month, August 2nd, and it was a 2-day trip, her first trip abroad since taking office as well. So she said that she hopes that Hong Kong ASEAN free trade agreement will be signed by the end of the year as well.
A lot of different things were discussed in addition to free trade agreements to promote trade and business in the countries. But Lam also defended a controversial plan to allow mainland officials from China to enforce Chinese laws inside a Hong Kong train station. So this could reflect a lot more to come in terms of adopting Chinese mainland laws in Hong Kong, which had been separated for a long time. Critics, a lot of them, say the move will reduce the city's autonomy and also put existing freedoms at risk.
That's right. So Hong Kong, as we know, they have a basic law mini constitution, and it states that with a few exceptions, Chinese national laws are not applicable in the city. So we're going to have to see how that falls through. But the government says about a quarter of the planned train station for the high-speed trains linking Hong Kong to the mainland will fall under mainland Chinese jurisdiction as well.
This is a quite interesting point, as Chinese train systems are being implemented in many countries, not just Hong Kong, but also around ASEAN. And so the details concerning the operations, the jurisdiction, and various plans that link to China still have a lot to be discussed. Those technicalities, the various points of operations and such, and policies. So this is one example.
That's right มาดูกันในส่วนข่าวที่ 4 นะคะซึ่งทางผู้นำของฮ่องกงค่ะก็ได้เยือนไปทางสิงคโปร์นะคะนางแครีแลมนะคะผู้บริหารสูงสุดเขตบริหารพิเศษฮ่องกงแห่งขออภัยค่ะสาธารณรัฐประชาชนจีนนะคะก็ได้เดินทางไปถึงสิงคโปร์นะคะก็เป็นทริป 2 วันทริปแรกต่างประเทศตั้งแต่ได้รับตำแหน่งมานะคะก็หวังว่าจะได้รับความร่วมมือทางเศรษฐกิจระหว่างฮ่องกงกับสิงคโปร์นะคะรวมไปถึงประเทศอื่นๆในอาเซียนด้วย
ใช่ค่ะก็มีการเปิดสถานีใหม่นะคะ train station ในฮ่องกงที่ได้รับการสนับสนุนจากประเทศจีนซึ่งก็เป็นตัวอย่างหลายๆที่ทั่วโลกนะคะที่มีการสนับสนุนแล้วก็การพัฒนาจากประเทศจีนเช่นกัน
Alright, so those are the news issues or the hot issues around your ASEAN bloc for this week. With that, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back soon with some calendar updates.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the program. Up next in ASEAN calendar, we have a lot of important events, especially for Thailand and many other countries as well, to take you on a tour of, such as Mother's Day.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาสู่ ASEAN calendar ค่ะซึ่งในช่วงนี้นะคะก็จะมีอีเวนท์ที่กำลังจะเกิดขึ้นในอาเซียนของเราไปดูกันค่ะ August 9th, Singapore's National Day. In 1963, a merger brought together Singapore, Sarawak, Sabah, and the Federation of Malaya to become Malaysia. Political and civil unrest made the union unstable and Singapore unwillingly became independent in 1965. Today, independence is celebrated and National Day includes activities like the large and patriotic feature. The National Day Parade is usually held at the Marina Bay. There is also a speech by the Prime Minister and fireworks. Before the parade, there are many other entertainments that are designed to encourage the audience to arrive and seat early. These include skydiving, choir performances, displays by school bands, and fun presentations that include audience participation. National Day fun packs are available for children and include food, drinks, discount vouchers from participating sponsors, and items intended for use during the parade, perhaps a theme-designed torchlight and a Singapore flag. The parade includes members of the Singapore Armed Forces, Singapore Police Force, Singapore Civil Defense Force, representatives of the People's Action Party, and various labor unions, as well as representatives of some of Singapore business entities. Students also march in uniformed groups including Scouts, Girl Guides, and diverse cadet corps. As a demonstration of the country's military air offensive and defense capabilities, the Singapore Air Force flies past the parade with many of its military aircraft. The flypast has been a part of the day, visible over much of Singapore since 1970. Later in the day, an amazing show follows the theme of the parade. The show consists of 3 main acts and ends with the grand finale that often includes a theme song. The day concludes with a huge fireworks display, mass pledge taking, and the singing of the national anthem. Post-parade parties are held in the evening and feature top celebrity acts. These congratulate and encourage the participants of the parade for their contribution to the amazing day. 12th of August, Mother's Day in Thailand. Lights deck the Royal Avenue. Portraits of the Queen, Mother of the Nation, rise throughout the country. The sweet, pure scent of jasmine fills the air. Children kneel at their mother's feet, and tears flow freely. These are the scenes and experiences to behold during each Mother's Day in Thailand. While Mother's Day is held dear in many cultures throughout the world, Mother's Day in Thailand is special. Celebrated on the Queen's birthday, August 12th, the holiday rings forth with pageantry, emotion, and beauty. About Her Majesty Queen Sirikit. As the wife of the longest reigning monarch in the world, His Majesty King Bhumibol Rama IX, Her Majesty Queen Sirikit is also the world's longest reigning royal consort, having presided over the Kingdom of Thailand in her royal role for over 60 years. As a young queen, she rose to prominence in part of her grace and beauty. Embracing the elegance of Thai silks, she played a key role in the revival and growth of this Thai art. And in the period surrounding Thailand's Mother's Day celebrations, you are likely to see a number of portraits of her from throughout her reign, clad in exquisite dresses of this Thai material. Her Majesty is also renowned for extensive charity work, including the work of the Thai Red Cross and numerous development projects throughout the country. Regarded as Mother of the Nation, Queen Sirikit's birthday has been declared Thailand's official Mother's Day. On August 12th of each year, the two occasions are celebrated in concert, with public festivities such as parades and ceremonies and private family get-togethers and intimate outpourings of emotion between mother and child. How do Thais celebrate Mother's Day? Like many important occasions, almsgiving to monks forms a meaningful part of the traditional Mother's Day celebrations. Early in the morning, ceremonies are held to give offerings of food to Thailand's saffron-robed Buddhist monks. Schools in Thailand typically host a Mother's Day ceremony. The ceremony is held perhaps a day before the official holiday, as on the day itself, all schools, governments, offices, and most businesses are closed. Students may spend weeks beforehand rehearsing performances and the proper steps of the ceremony. On the special day, mothers come to the child's school, and each child kneels at his or her mother's feet, paying respect to mom for all that she has done for them. Within these heartfelt moments, it's common to see mothers wiping tears from their eyes and many children doing the same, and sometimes onlookers as well. It's also quite common for families to celebrate their love for mom by taking her out for a special meal, particularly in Bangkok and other large cities and developed locations like Chiang Mai and Phuket. Many restaurants offer Mother's Day specials. Hotels and resorts also offer Mother's Day packages. So if you are visiting or residing in Thailand during this period, you may want to be on the lookout for restaurant and hotel specials. Mother's Day gifts in Thailand. The traditional Mother's Day gift in Thailand is jasmine. This delicate white flower is imbued with a sweet perfumed fragrance called dok mali in Thai. Jasmine is used in worship and is also seen as symbol of purity, gentleness, and motherhood. Jasmine is sold in open white blossoms, its most characteristic form as a symbol of motherhood, as well as in exquisitely crafted flower garlands and white fabric or other synthetic blossoms. Like in many other countries, children will often create a handmade Mother's Day card. Young children and adult children may also give their mother a special gift in addition to or instead of jasmine. Foods, sweets, jewelry, handbags, tech gizmos, warm messages in a cell phone, a special lunch, a weekend at the beach, a sprig of jasmine. The gifts vary widely according to each family, each child's age, and their circumstances. But the sentiment is always the same, thanking mom and honoring her for her sacrifice and dedication. When is Mother's Day in Thailand? The current date of Mother's Day in Thailand is August 12th, held each year. However, the history of Mother's Day in Thailand has seen a number of dates and on and off periods of celebration. Thailand's first Mother's Day was held April 10, 1943, due to the upheaval of World War II. Mother's Day did not become a formally established recurring holiday until 1950, when it began to be celebrated again, this time on April 15th. Mother's Day celebrations continued on this date for a number of years, though with changing governments, it eventually faded away again. The holiday made a one-year comeback on October 4, 1972, this time sponsored by a teachers' association, but did not yet take root. Finally, Mother's Day was established on its current form in co-celebration with the Queen's birthday in 1976. Since then, it has become an important national holiday celebrated to much fanfare year after year. While the official date of Mother's Day in Thailand is August 12th, in many years the government also deems one more official day of holiday. Specifically, if August 12th falls on a weekend, then Friday or Monday will be deemed as Observance Day, giving the country a 3-day weekend. Some people even take the opportunity to request an additional day off so that they can celebrate a 4-day holiday. Thais love their holidays. 18th of August 2017, National Science Day in Thailand. In 1868, His Majesty King Rama IV invited Sir Harry Ord, the governor of the British Straits settlements, as well as a party of French astronomers and scientists, to observe a total solar eclipse, which he predicted would be on the 18th of August at 12:13 p.m. He also calculated the precise location in Thailand where it would be best to observe. The party traveled to Wat Ko, a small village in Prachuap Khiri Khan province about 300 kilometers south of Bangkok, for the event, where the king's calculations proved to be correct. This was just another example that showed both his loyal subjects and foreign dignitaries how much of an intellectual he really was. Even more impressive was the fact that he had predicted this eclipse himself 2 years before it actually happened. It is unfortunate that King Rama IV is more known to the modern world as the dancing and singing king in the Broadway stage production of the movie The King and I. Tragically, during the expedition, King Rama IV and His Royal Highness Prince Chulalongkorn both contracted malaria. The king died the following month in Bangkok. In 1982, the Thai government designated King Rama IV as the father of science in Thailand. In addition, they declared that henceforth August 18th would be known as National Science Day. In 1989, the King Mongkut Memorial Park of Science and Technology was established to commemorate King Rama IV. The park is located at kilometer 335 of Highway number 4, about 12 kilometers from Prachuap Khiri Khan and 4 kilometers along a branch road.
That wraps up calendar for this week. We take a short break. When we come back, more coming up in ASEAN interview, so don't go away.
พักกันสักครู่ค่ะ And welcome back to the program, and on to ASEAN interview. We have an interesting topic for you as always.
Let's check it out. As the battle against Islamist militants in the southern Philippines continues to rage, talks on regional security are expected to take center stage at this year's Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit, overshadowing the more long-standing discussions on the disputed South China Sea. In the past, the South China Sea has topped the agenda at the annual regional forum, with participant nations usually expected to press China to conclude a code of conduct to regulate navigation. But since May 23rd, when an alliance of pro-Islamic State fighters laid siege to the southern Marawi city, security forces in the Philippines, this year's ASEAN host, have been on high alert, with fears rife that the rest of the region is fast becoming an Asian hub for the ultra-radical group. The ongoing battle in the city has so far killed more than 650 people, mostly rebel fighters. The Philippines and neighboring Malaysia and Indonesia have recently launched joint maritime patrols in an effort to curb the movements of Islamist fighters, as well as tackle piracy in the porous waters. Growing concerns about Islamic State militants migrating to the region are a concern for every country, according to the Philippine Foreign Affairs spokesperson, adding that he expects a lot of support for counter-terrorism operations during the upcoming meetings.
It's a concern of every country, and we expect that there will be a lot of support for the Philippine efforts in Marawi, a lot of support for the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia trilateral efforts to combat terrorism in the areas of the Sulu Sea and the surrounding neighboring areas.
The executive director of the Philippine Institute for Peace, Violence and Terrorism, Romel Banlaoy, says the South China Sea has become less problematic than the arrival of increasing numbers of foreign terrorist fighters, which are being viewed as an urgent priority.
There is now a moment of relative calm in the South China Sea, and the positive development happening between China and the Philippines makes the issue of the South China Sea less problematic compared to the issue of terrorism. The issue of terrorism in the Philippines is more and more serious because of the presence not only of local militants but also of foreign terrorist fighters. And for the Philippine government, that is the urgent priority to be resolved.
They also happen to come at a time when Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte pushes warmer ties with China. China has rattled nerves around Asia and globally with its increasingly assertive stance and an ambitious military modernization plan in the resource-rich South China Sea. It claims most of the waterway, but several Southeast Asian countries like the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Vietnam also have competing claims. China's claims to sovereignty over the sea were invalidated last year by the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague after the previous Philippine government filed a case in 2013 on maritime boundaries. Duterte, however, has put the ruling on the back burner, saying he'll revisit it later in his terms. The ASEAN summit officially kicked off in Manila Saturday with an opening ceremony. The Philippines had said they are deploying a precautionary 13,000 police officers to secure it.
And that wraps up the ASEAN Challenge for you this week. We'll see you next week. As for today, สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ